many different things. I'm going to focus on three little bits. All of them show the heavy influence the Zohar has on the ha-Hayyim. Throughout these entire Torah portions, not always, but many a times you get the feeling and understand that the Zohar was a fundamental place where ha-Hayyim would absorb a lot of his ideas and then take them, elsewhere or develop them. So one for our first out of three things. First thing, he says to us that when a couple come, in time of conception, when a couple come together and you're trying to make a baby, ha-Hayyim, piggybacking on the Zohar, says that moment of conception, what your thoughts are of the utmost importance. There is going to be a connection between what you're thinking about at that moment and what kind of child you have, which is fascinating because it says that there has to be a lot of thought in that moment, and if it's good thoughts, then great, and if it's lesser good thoughts, that can be problematic, and that's ha-Hayyim going with Zohar. That's point number one. So what we think in certain actions matters a lot. Number two, why is a Brit Milah 8 days? Why do we wait for the 8th day? And there are many different questions, and the ha-Hayyim says, it's very difficult to sort of understand why exactly 8. And one of the interesting things, again, quoting the Zohar, he says, the reason you wait 8 days is to ensure, because it's like a sensitive time health-wise, that the baby gets at least one Shabbos. So you need to ensure that every baby has at least a Sabbath, because in the Sabbath you get a certain aspect of the soul that comes into you, and that then adds, and the baby can only be ready after that. So if someone, say, was born, on a Friday, or on a Sunday, you're gonna wait then for the week after because they have to go through a Shabbos. Last but not least, also influenced by the Zohar, and there's this idea of tzarat, of leprosy that you have on the clothes, on the skin, on the house. And there's this scene where there's leprosy on the house, and the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, comes and has a look, inspects it, then closes it down. And ha-Hayyim says all of this is an analogy, like the deeper meaning of this, to the soul that God places in a human body. Here, the house is the body, and the people inside of the soul. And the high priest is the analogy of God, coming in to inspect, well, I've given you this beautiful house, what are you doing with it? And if you see all sorts of blemishes and leprosy, it means, you need to get on track. So these are just three different bits, but all the common denominator is the influence of the Zohar or ha-Hayyim. Thoughts on Tazria Mezora. Shabbat Shalom.